Okay, today I'm going to show you the assembly of our LS1 ITB kit. Now, a few things to note: when you receive your kit, it'll probably have manifolds like this. I've chosen for this one to give them a coat of paint, just simple engine enamel. I quite like the semi-gloss colour. As you can see, they come up pretty nice. You will need to insert the O-rings into the manifolds and into the throttles. Make sure we've got O-rings on both sides. A few tools you're going to need. Essential, you're going to need an 8mm and a 6mm. That's for adjusting these later on. I like these Allen keys. They're pretty easy to use. With a ball on the end, you can get in on an angle. You'll probably need some normal Allen keys. You may need to shorten one a little bit. And the usual sockets and things. And now this is also essential. You must have this one. This is for balancing the throttles once we get it installed. This is the only type of balance tool that you can use to do it properly. As you can see, we've got everything laid out. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is bolt manifolds together. Okay. Okay, so here's how we have it set up. Okay, so all these lead to the idler control block. This one is for your brake booster or brake servo. And this in this corner. If you're going to use the factory fuel rail, now's the time it needs to go on before the throttles can be installed. And these clips have to sit in between here. Okay, now obviously you can see this one isn't closed and it's progressively getting tight when this one's closed. So to adjust that, we simply wind these down. You'll see when this one just starts to close, it'll start to open this one. So about there, good. You can see this one's starting to move. This one starts to move. Now obviously if you're mounting the injectors on the high mount here, you'd put these bungs in the bottom ones. Okay, so next we've got the linkages for the front. Now these have a right hand and a left hand thread. to install these with both the same way, so I like putting the right hand thread at the bottom. So we'll put both right hand threads at the bottom. Now you can see we need to adjust these so that the lever at the bottom doesn't go over center. You can see now it's going right over center, but we want it to stop as high up as we can. That'll give us nice progressive action. So just before it goes over center is about the right length. Now we want to try and get them so they're reasonably even. We'll reset this once they're on the car. Use a good quality TPS, ideally an OEM one. A lot of aftermarket ones generally not so reliable. Now we want to install the clamps with these screws on the outside like this. Couple more things I need to mention. This is the map sensor from the factory manifold. We put a piece of hose on it, and this one sits on that little hose tail that we left sitting off the block there. That sits under there. Now for tuning throttle bodies, you cannot use just the map sensor. You must use a proper blended strategy. It is available to be done with the factory ECU, which uses a combination of TPS and map. That's the only way to tune them properly. The other thing we need is a little piece of hose here if you are running the plenum, and this will fit into a fitting on the plenum. Otherwise you can put a little filter in here. So if you're running the airbox and plenum, there's a fitting here that sits in that one when it goes on, and we put the air temp sensor in here, a good spot for it. Okay, so it's ready to install in the car. Now before we install it, we have to loosen off everything, so including the injector rails. Just make sure everything's nice and loose. So there we go, everything's nice and loose. So when we bolt it on, it can all settle into the right position, and then last of all we'll tighten everything up starting from the bottom. We'll tighten the manifolds down, then tighten the cross braces, the linkage, all these parts, tighten these up, and last of all the fuel rail. And then we can nip these ones up, make sure these are all tight. So there we go. Okay, let's put it on the car.